Welcome to episode 10 of the Card Notes by Vintage Hockey Cards Report podcast. Today we're taking a closer look at these 5 hockey cards. The Gordie Howe 1965-66 Topps 108 card, the Guy Charron 1974-75 O-Pee-Chee number 57 card, the John McKenzie 1963-64 Topps 42 card, the Lanny McDonald 1975-76 O-Pee-Chee 23 card, and the Mark Messier 1980-81 O-Pee-Chee 289 card. Let's get on with it. Enjoy. The Gordie Howe 1965-66 Topps number 108 hockey card. Written on the back of the card, Gordie is now in 20th year with Wings and still going strong. His 595 goals an all-time high. Also most games 1,259. Most assists 766. Most points 1,361. And always a leader. On November 27, 1965, Gordie Howe was given a standing ovation at the Montreal Forum when he scored the 600th goal of his career. First 600-goal scorer in the NHL. A closer look. On November 27, 1965, Gordie Howe waited until late in the third period before he netted that historic 600th goal. At 16:10 of the third, Howe scored to bring the Detroit Red Wings to within a goal of the Montreal Canadiens, making the score 3-2. The goal was scored on Gump Worsley and was assisted by Gary Bergman and Don McKenzie. It was just the 5th goal of the season, and the loss dropped the Red Wings to a dismal 3-8-4 on the 1965-66 season. It should be noted that after Howe scored his goal, he received a 5-minute major for high sticking at 18:36. I'm certain there was no ovation for that. The 600th goal seemed to be a monkey off not only Gordie's back but the whole Red Wings team. Detroit turned around and won the next 7 games and won 9 of the next 10. Gordie would go on to score 29 goals on the season, and his 75 points were good for 5th in the race for the Art Ross Trophy. Detroit ended up the season in 4th place, a distant 26 points ahead of the 5th place Boston Bruins. The Red Wings took out the Chicago Blackhawks in the playoffs before losing to the Canadiens in the final. The Guy Charron 1974-75 O-Pee-Chee number 57 hockey card. Written on the back of the card, last season was the best ever for Guy, as the quick skating forward proved he is a natural goal scorer. He can play either left or right wing, an extremely fast and elusive skater. Guy came out of the Montreal farm system. He started in amateur hockey with the Montreal Junior Canadiens. Detroit got him as part of the big trade for Mickey Redmond in 1971. A closer look. Guy Charron's best offensive years were still to come with a string of 4 straight years from 1975-76 to 1978-79, where he would score at least 27 goals in each season. He had 2 30-plus goal campaigns with the Washington Capitals, 36 in 76-77 and 38 in 77-78. Charron had an outstanding season for the Montreal Junior Canadiens in 1968-69, his only year with the club. Although his 54 points in 50 regular season games were nothing spectacular, he exploded offensively in the playoffs. Guy had 26 points in 14 games as the Junior Canadiens captured the J. Ross Robertson Cup. He added another 12 points in 8 games as the team captured the Memorial Cup championship. The trade the card speaks of happened on January 13, 1971, bringing Charron, Bill Collins, and Mickey Redmond to the Detroit Red Wings in exchange for Frank Mahovlich. Over parts of 2 seasons, Charron had appeared in just 20 games for the Montreal Canadiens. Not long after this card was issued, Charron was gone from Detroit. On December 15, 1974, he was traded to the Kansas City Scouts along with Claude Howard for Bart Crashley, Larry Giroux, and Ted Snell. Guy Charron played 734 regular season games in the National Hockey League between 1969-70 and 1980-81 with the Montreal Canadiens, Detroit Red Wings, Kansas City Scouts, and Washington Capitals. Playing for low-end teams, Charron had the distinction of never playing a game in the NHL postseason. The John McKenzie 1963-64 Topps number 42 hockey card. Written on the back of the card, John led playoff scorers, then was named unanimous right-wing choice in AHL. Previous trials with Chicago and Detroit won't discourage his chances. A closer look. John McKenzie led the Buffalo Bisons with 20 points on 8 goals and 12 assists over 13 American Hockey League playoff games in 1962-63. The Bisons captured the Calder Cup championship, taking out the Hershey Bears in the final. McKenzie played 45 games for the Chicago Blackhawks in 1963-64. He would play just 5 more games in the minors in 1964-65 with the St. Louis Braves and the CPHL before becoming a true regular in the National Hockey League. Chicago traded away John before the start of the 1965-66 season to the New York Rangers. His time in the Big Apple was short. A career-changing trade sent him to the Boston Bruins midway through 1965-66 in exchange for Reg Fleming. With Boston, his career flourished, with 5 straight seasons with 20 or more goals and 2 Stanley Cup championships. John McKenzie jumped to the World Hockey Association for the league's inaugural 1972-73 season, and he stayed for the duration of the WHA's existence. Over his 7 seasons in the WHA, McKenzie played for the Philadelphia Blazers, Vancouver Blazers, Minnesota Fighting Saints, Cincinnati Stingers, and New England Whalers. The Lanny McDonald 1975-76 O-Pee-Chee number 23 hockey card. Written on the back of the card, Toronto's 5th leading scorer last year despite missing 16 games. First team All-Star selection as junior. Strong skater and has wicked wrist shot. Closer look. The 44 points put up by Lanny McDonald in 1974-75 were good enough for 5th on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Leading the way was Darryl Sittler with 80 points, with Ron Ellis, Dave Keon, and George Ferguson coming in between. Lanny's production would more than double in 1975-76 with 37 goals and 56 assists for 93 points. In 1972-73, McDonald finished 3rd in WCHL scoring, putting up 139 points on 62 goals and 77 assists. Leading the league was his Medicine Hat Tigers teammate Tom Lysiak with 154 points. Lanny was named the first-team All-Star at right wing. The Tigers took out the Saskatoon Blades in the final to capture the championship. Between 1973-74 and 1988-89, Lanny McDonald appeared in 1,111 regular season and 117 playoff games in the National Hockey League with the Maple Leafs and Calgary Flames. He was a 66-goal scorer with Calgary in 1982-83 and won a Stanley Cup championship with the club in 1988-89. Lanny was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1992. The Mark Messier 1980-81 O-Pee-Chee number 289 hockey card. Written on the back of the card, one of the strongest players on Oilers' squad, he combines that with outstanding speed and agility. His robust style of play makes him a favorite of the Edmonton fans. The Oilers play their home games at Northlands Coliseum. A closer look. The 1980-81 NHL season would see Mark Messier double his numbers with 23 goals, 40 assists, and 63 points. By 81-82, Messier was a 50-goal scorer, and by 1982-83, he topped the 100-point plateau. Not bad for a third-round pick in 1979. Mark's 50 goals in 1981-82 would be the only time he'd reach the plateau, but he certainly could find the back of the net with 694 goals over his National Hockey League career. He topped 100 points 6 times during his career, with his best coming in 1989-90 with 129. Messier played 1,756 regular season and 236 playoff games in the NHL between 1979-80 and 2003-2004 with the Edmonton Oilers, New York Rangers, and Vancouver Canucks. He won the Conn Smythe Trophy in 1983-84 and has his name on the Hart Trophy twice. Mark was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 2007. As per the trivia snippet, the Edmonton Oilers played home games at the Northlands Coliseum from 1974-75, their 3rd season in the WHA, until the end of the 2015-2016 NHL season. The venue had a capacity of 17,100 spectators for hockey. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Card Notes. Stay tuned, there'll be more coming up soon. If you could, please hit the like button, and we'd really appreciate if you'd subscribe to the channel.